back in 1997, two guys from London called Double 99 made this track called Ripgroove, which I love. I made a cover version of it on Koala Sampler, and I'm going to show you what I did. One of the most iconic parts of the track is a vocal sample taken from Tina Moore's Never Gonna Let You Go, which came out in 1995. When it came out, it was backed by a few remixes, one of which starts off like this. I absolutely love that sample. It still gives me goosebumps now. I was at university when it came out, and I wasn't really going to the sort of clubs where it was played, but every now and then it would sneak into a playlist at a place I was going to. I just used to lose it. But yeah, if you've heard that sample before, it's been taken by Jamie XX. I've heard a Sammy Vergy song use it, and it's just kind of like one of those sounds that you hear if you go clubbing a lot. It's hypnotic. It's kind of like one of the first times people were using people's voices as like a weird robotic thing. That's all over the place now with auto-tune, but it was such a fresh sound at the time. Unfortunately, the remix that I took from YouTube didn't start off like that, and I thought you had to clip that sample from the middle of the track. So this is what I did. I took a piece from a YouTube video and I loaded it into Koala, and this is what I started off with. All right, so I don't know if it's obvious what's going on there, but what happens is the sample plays all the way along, and then you tell Koala to loop, but don't start back from the very start. Start back from the middle sort of part. So it's called a ping pong loop. You go like this, you go all the way along, and then you ping pong back to wherever it tells you to go. The reason for that is that the actual sample that everyone knows, it's not Tina Moore singing that phrase straight through. It's kind of like you hear the middle part of it and then the back part of it, and it's kind of a weird effect. It's not really what she sang in the first place. So listen to it again. I mean, it's cool. You have to admit, it's cool. Right, so you strip out the vocals from the other instruments using the split stems feature, which I'll show you again later anyway, so I won't go over that now. And then it's time to put a beat. So kind of the most important thing about this beat, it's 130 BPM, which is pretty fast actually. It was from a genre called Speed Garage, which was always known for pretty high beats, but it has a lot of swing to it. So you can see the swing is right up there. 4 on the floor kick, a semi-closed hi-hat, and then open hi-hat. All of these things just come from the kits which come with Koala. So the 808, the 909, adding some of the hi-hats, adding some of the top elements, and you build it up slowly. It's sort of medium complicated, and if I'm honest with you, I had a lot of help from another video, which I'm going to link now. But I think the main thing is that's characteristic of this beat is that swing. You can hear if you don't have it in, or if you have it too much, it changes it completely. That's too much. And that's about right. Without the swing, it just sounds like a kind of a house beat, a typical house beat, but with it, it's got that sort of shuffling, jerky feel to it, which was really characteristic of the genre. Okay, so look, if we're going to be completely honest, the reason why I made this video, John suggested in the comments, why don't you do something about stretch? And every time I think of stretch, extreme time stretching stuff in Koala, it's this sound that I hear in my head. The vocal is from a guy called MC Topcat from some drum and bass record that I'll look up on who sampled in a minute. But it's amazing. I've no idea what the guy's saying. I've never known. Jump wide, is it? Something like that? It can't be. That doesn't make any sense. But it sounds incredible. So the great thing about what we can do now with Koala is you can grab that sample, you can listen to it, you can stretch it yourself, and you can really make a sound that's so similar to the record that it just, you can see me smiling, I just love it. So here's what we do. Here's the original sample.
Special request to all the girls from north, south, east and west. From your body look good and you know you have the God bless Brock wine.
I still don't know what he's saying. I honestly couldn't tell you. I'll look it up on Genius. But yeah.
Special request to all the girls from north, south, east and west. From your body look good and you know you have the God bless Brock wine.
Koala's got a time stretch feature. We'll take it from whatever it is right now, 2 beats or something, to a full 2 bars. Now, that's way longer than it needs to be, and you're gonna get, like, weird artifacts if you do that stretching, and that's what we want, that's the effect. The modern time stretching in Koala is cool, and it's pretty natural sounding, and it sounds like this. But what we want really is a kind of retro, like late 90s sound, which is this. I just love it. A little bit of delay on there, a little bit of reverb. It's just, that is the record. So there's an amazing article in The Guardian about the making of this track where they interviewed the two guys, and they say that they took the bass line from a Mozart piano concerto in C minor, which is just an amazing thing to say to a journalist, but it's totally not true because the track sounds nothing like the bass line. Still, check it out if you want to. It's quite a simple repeating pattern, and rather than do it with a sample, like a sample of a bass note, I thought I'd use Quokka in Koala. So I can't claim there was some great science to it. I used a square wave. I added some envelope filter so that when you press the key, if you like, it sort of opened the filter up a little bit to start with. It had a bit of resonance in there, but it was also low pass filtered. I just played around until I got a sound that sounded something like the record to me. See what you think. So after kind of saying that they weren't really students of Mozart for the bass line, I have to say that the synth pad on here is really something pretty special. The notes that they use, and it's just like a sine wave, more or less. Oh, that's what I'm using. The notes are B, C, F sharp, and G, which just make this really like discordant noise. Like it's horrible to listen to if you just listen to it by itself. But in the context of the track, I think it sounds perfect. It's been really fun actually breaking down this track and trying to work out where all the different bits fit together. I'm not going to do absolutely all of it. There was like a record backspin noise in there. There's a couple of other samples from that DJ Gunshot record, which, you know, I could chop them up, I could put them in there, but it's not really going to prove anything to myself. I'm not really going to learn much. All I really wanted to do was try and see if I could recreate something using Quokka, using the stretch, and using the one other thing I want to show you, which is the stem separator. So I mentioned before that one of the vocal samples, the Tina Moore track, I used the stem separator on there. Also used it for a little bit that's lifted from, I think, Armin van Helden's remix of CJ Bolland's Sugar is Sweeter, which is like another big song of the time. There's like a small horn section that's taken from that record with the drums split out of it. So, you know, you record the video again from YouTube, you load it into Koala, you use stem separator, and because I've done this before, I know which part of the track is the horn section that we want. It's the other bit, and then drop it into the track. It turns out it's the same tempo as the rest of the track, so you don't have to do any stretching of the time or pushing into place to make it fit. And that's pretty much it. So hopefully you've enjoyed what I've done here. Hopefully, you know, you might have learned something or you've seen a technique that you haven't used before. You might as well subscribe if you got this far through the video. And yeah, this is how it sounds in the end.